the last part will be to impact. So in Inform, we simplify difficult concepts that the students have previously struggled with, present them in an easy and accessible manner for the student, and evaluate the students' understanding concepts taught until they improve in their performance. Then lastly is Impact. We prepare the students to succeed in their national and school level exams. We share with students how to answer exam questions, how to approach exams, how to spend their time in exams, and how to make sure our efforts result in significant improvement in their exam. Yani that whole thing is just full of exam. We help students succeed in their national and school level exams. We share with the students how to answer exam questions. We share with students how to approach exams, how to spend time in exams, how to make sure that our efforts result in significant improvement in exams. So that's the key thing. As I've said, the work of a tutor is to help the student improve. And where will they improve in? They improve in exams, nothing else. In the exams too, students need to improve. So impact. So impacting is exam oriented, because no matter what the student understands, if they can't replicate it in the exam, it doesn't matter. No one cares. Whatever the student has understood, regardless of how well you teach and how well they have understood, regardless of how well you teach and the bond you have, regardless of how well you teach and the bond you have formed, it doesn't matter. It won't matter if that doesn't help the student improve in their exams. Yes, and so as a tutor, you need to be exam oriented. You can't be a tutor if you are not exam oriented. Just you can't be a salesperson if you're not money oriented. Sometimes people make these things wrong, but there are certain occupations that people can't do if they're not oriented in a certain way. A salesperson must be money oriented. And a home tutor must be exam oriented. So that's something you need to, it's a radical shift. You're not just focusing on understanding and everything. You need to focus on being exam oriented. So that is why we have said, and it's both national, maybe just to add it over here, and that is both at a national and let me put that in different color, and school level, because parents also care about how the student performs in school. National is just one exam at the end of 3 years or 4 or 5. In CBC it's 3 after, but in 844 it was 8 and 4. So we can't wait for the national exam to know the improvement. So that's why school exams are important, and also the national exam is important. So that means when you're dealing with students at different levels, how you engage them is different. When you're working with a Form 4 student, you'll focus on the national. Kabisa, focus on the national. When you're working with these other students, you need to be able to maintain a focus for both the national and the school exam. You cannot tutor a student and not understand when their next exam is, because that next exam might determine whether next month the parent will decide to have tuition or not to have tuition. The student's next exam is the one that will determine whether we continue with tuition or not. So you cannot just teach and not have a picture on when the next exam will be. You need to always know when is the student sitting for the next exam and prepare them sufficiently to sit for that exam. And lastly, we always need to have our eyes on the main exam, which is the national exam, because it's the national exam that will determine whether this student will turn out to become a good career person or not. And the national exam determines the university and course that the student will do. And us being focused on helping them attain their dream careers, we need to always have a view for the national exam, making sure that you're making sufficient progress so that by the time they're sitting that national exam, this student is able to do that dream career that they want to do. So we are exam oriented. And one of the ways that we makes us to prepare for exams, we don't like being caught off guard as an institution when it comes to exam. Hatupendangi mwalimu aseme, oh, we are making so much progress with the student, alafu exam inakuja and higher, the student has not improved. So because of this, we have monthly cuts that the teacher prepares and gives to the student at the end of the month. So before we ask the parent to subscribe, and before we ask as Rabi, we decide whether we are going to continue with a particular teacher, we want to see how is the student doing in these monthly cuts. So from those monthly cuts, you can be able to know whether the teacher is helping the student improve. You can be teaching and a very good teacher, but are you helping the student improve? And we can be able to know from this monthly cuts whether the students will also improve in school. There's no way that a student can be doing well in their monthly cuts and fail in their school exams. That's almost impossible. So we always have monthly cuts to help us, both us and the teacher, to help us know the progress, the general progress. Assignments help you know the specific progress in a particular class, but cuts help us know the general progress we have made in the month. And these cuts always focus on the areas you have taught the student. Always focus on the areas you have covered in the month. So that's one important thing that we use. We always have monthly cuts. So always be prepared to prepare a monthly cut at the end of the month so that you can be able to give a report to the parent as to the progress we have made. We don't use words, as we want to see how has the student performed. Apart from that, share with students tips on how to approach the exam paper or how to prepare for the exam paper. Share with them how to give them tips on how to spend time, how to use their time in exam. So share with students tips, which questions they can choose from, and many other tips that you can to make sure that they're well prepared for the exam, because that's where the impact is measured on. That is where the impact will be measured on. So that said, I think you have been able to get a glimpse of our 3 I's. I've talked about inspire. I've given you the tools and talked broadly about it. I've talked about inform, which is what you do, that's teaching itself. And I've also talked on impact, how to make sure that you're able to have impact. So the 3 I's: inspire, inform, impact. You need to know them by heart and always to seek to make sure that we can be able to deliver on that. And if you do nothing else, inspire. If you do nothing else, inspire. If you do nothing else, inspire the student, because the inspiration is able to ensure we have an impact even before you start teaching. The teaching part is the informing part. So inspire, inform, impact. So those are our 3 I's. We say the reason why we have not hired a psychologist or a counselor to inspire the children is because at times most students need additional help. So that's why we have inform. So inspire, inform, impact. Inspire, inform, impact. So those are our 3 core values.